Hello, future millionaires. This is Aztec, and this is the CSC.
Matic network, get that straight up. It's not hard, it's so simple. Matic network, Matic network, Matic network, Matic network.
Future millionaires, today I'm going to show you something that I do not believe I've done for Matic. It is a speculation, not financial advice type video, but there's a lot of research that has gone into this, so you definitely want to check this out. Now I'm going to give you my 3 reasons why I personally believe, not financial advice, why Matic can go to $1. To be honest though, I think that's conservative. I really think the Matic can go anywhere from $1 to $4, even up to $10, and I'll explain in this video. And these are going to be some extremely powerful points. Now, right now, I'm just going to give you some little snippets, and I'll explain throughout this video. So, one, first reason, NEO, the Chinese Ethereum. 2, 80 to 90% of dApps in India are, we'll explain. And 3, Coinbase and Binance are, we'll explain. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give a bonus piece of information that will really blow your mind and kind of show you just how crazy the price of Matic can really go. Now, we're going to go ahead and start with NEO, the Chinese Ethereum. Now, we have to go back in time, and we can use this chart here. We see that this is actually back in July of 2017. This chart actually shows that the price was a little over $4 for NEO, and it went all the way up to over $200. Now, you're probably asking why I'm showing you NEO when this is a Matic video. Because of how the market works. NEO was the Chinese Ethereum of the blockchains layer ones back in 2017. And the reason the price went from a little over $4 to over $200 in this span of time is because there was a lot of speculators, investors that thought that if some of the Chinese regulations were to change, that the Chinese people would basically look at this project being, from their home country, being the project that they would purchase and buy to support it, and that speculation would make the price of NEO go crazy. So because they were just speculating that a country would possibly buy up all of the NEO and that the price would go crazy, the price went from $4 to over $200. That's insane. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I really look at Matic, even though it is the layer 2 of Ethereum, I really look at it like the Indian Ethereum of our day and age right now, because it kind of works into our second point, and I'll explain. But there are a lot of applications that are looking to onboard onto Matic, and it's just the start. It's just a start. Now, this second point, 80 to 90% of dApps in India are, and I'm going to show you, are actually interested in working with Matic. Now, this is huge, guys. Before I go to that, though, I do want to say one thing about the whole, NEO, Chinese Ethereum, that whole talk. Now, a lot of people say, well, the circulating supply is, a lot less for NEO than it is with Matic. But honestly, if we look at XRP's chart, being that XRP has way more circulating supply than Matic Network has, it itself went up exponentially as well. And you can see here that if we take this price tool, if we went from the beginning, or basically around July of 2017 to beginning of of 2018, the end of 2017, basically half that year, it itself went up 24 times its value, 2,423%, about that, depending on the exchange. Within that portion of the year, it went up 24 times its money. And if we go to CoinMarketCap, let's see, we can take a look just to prove it to you. We have now, of course, this is current circulating supply, but essentially it was similar, with the differences. If we look at XRP right here, it has a circulating supply of 44 billion. Right here, you can see it, 44 billion, over 44 billion currently. So it's a huge circulating supply, and it went, roughly from the teens of worth in pennies. Let's go back to the chart. Roughly around 12 cents all the way up to $3.24, with with billions and billions worth of circulating supply. Now, if we look at Matic, which is probably sitting around the 80s, right here, there it is, Matic Network 89, has a current circulating supply of 3 billion. So nowhere close to XRP's circulating supply. But my point is that even XRP can move exponentially. So just because you have a circulating supply of 3.5 billion doesn't mean that these tokens can't go up exponentially, very similar to the way NEO did in 2017. So I just want to kind of just cut that out real quick. So basically, let's go on to our second point, and that is 80 to 90% of dApps in India are actually working with the Matic network. And we can go to this extremely bullish article that was recently written July 2nd of 2020. You can see right here, and it says, why Bitcoin bulls are betting on explosive growth in India. Now, I actually want to read through this article, and we'll get to the point through the article, but this is very important because it has to do with the growth in India, what's happening in India, and if you're an investor in Matic, you really want to take a look at these kind of macroeconomic, crypto-economic type things that are happening, the way the market's moving, the way regulations are moving, because all these things matter if you're invested in the Matic network. So basically, let's go ahead and start reading through this. It says, when India's Supreme Court overturned the banking restrictions for crypto exchanges back in March, everything changed. Since then, Binance joined the Internet of Mobile Association of India, which played a key role in overturning the ban and noted explosive growth via WazirX, the Indian exchange Binance acquired in 2019. Binance acquired this exchange in 2019. This is an Indian exchange. So think about it. Binance launches the Matic network as an IEO, and they're also moving into Indian politics, and they're also have acquired a very large exchange in India. Really big moves. And obviously this would also boost the power behind the Matic network. So to continue, a WazirX spokesman told CoinDesk the exchange saw 150% more signups in many Indian cities from February to May of 2020, which boosted local trading volumes by 66%. So we have to understand that the Indian crypto market is exploding exponentially, and that's just the market itself. So that kind of ties into the speculation between or behind Indian projects, and why the Matic network could really see a lot of price fluctuation because of this speculation and actual real adoption. This is real adoption. It's not just speculation. The Supreme Court's positive verdict has surely helped in creating positivity around crypto in India, the spokesman said. And obviously, there's some things that you can read in regards to that information, sources. To continue, it says, as part of the broader sentiment shift, prominent Indian economist Subhash Chandra Garg argued a digital rupee will replace physical paper rupee as currency. As the former executive director of the World Bank and former Indian Finance Secretary, Garg argued both that Bitcoin is a global currency and that India should create a central bank digital currency that citizens can use with digital wallets. So, obviously, you guys know there's a lot of countries looking to start this whole CBDC, central bank digital currency. And, it looks like people are arguing that Bitcoin should be used or digital wallets should be used. This is really big news because this kind of pushes the whole digital world forward. Now, even beyond India, entrepreneurs like London-based Pavel Mataviv of WireX Ltd are eager to expand in India. Last November, we launched our product in 8 countries across Southeast Asia, and we are hoping to launch in India this summer, Matic said in a phone interview. The United Kingdom, for example, has a huge remittance flow from the UK to India. India demand for crypto may be exhilarated by the COVID-19 situation. So I guess, basically because cash is dirty, people are looking for other means of, payment. Beyond boosting exchanges and remittances, Matic Network co-founder Sandeep Nailwal said there's been an uptick in the usage of decentralized applications, or dApps, within the first month of rolling out an Ethereum scaling solution. Nailwal said his startup garnered roughly 60 dApps and is currently in the process of onboarding another 60 dApps. So, like I was saying, guys, the Matic Network already is acquiring many dApps. And here we're seeing, there's being said to be another 60 dApps that are already interested. And as we know, recently the Matic Network launched their mainnet, obviously also staking, but the mainnet. So now dApps can actually start deploying to the mainnet, and transactions can start and take some of the load off the first layer, being Ethereum. So there's already a lot of speculation going on and a lot of real world usage here. So this is crazy, guys. I mean, if you guys know, part of the reason why 2017 exploded is because of the ICOs, where people were acquiring Ethereum to purchase ICOs, and the prices of Ethereum went exponential. And here you go. Ethereum was also valued very highly because it was the base layer for all of these applications or dApps that were running on top of it. So its valuation was very high. Investors saw Ethereum as something very important because it had all of those dApps upon it. And here we have Matic basically being the current and really in the foreseeable future, in my opinion, the only viable second layer, acquiring all these dApps now, and this is just the start. So this is why this is important to look at these things now. So to continue, I digress. Especially with crypto, people are able to play games and earn money out of it. Real money games are becoming more popular, he said during a video call. We're seeing a lot of applications rely on us because Ethereum is completely choked up. So basically the transactions are starting to become more costly, and they're kind of backing up on Ethereum because Ethereum is only able to do so many transactions per second, or really minute, and it needs the Matic network to help scale, because Matic can do a lot more transactions per second. Now added, there are more tech workers in India, with more than 1 billion people, than the entire populations of some countries, especially in tech hubs like Bangalore. There are plenty of technically skilled people willing to overcome the UX challenges that hinder mainstream users. So far, at least 15 of the dApps using Matic also hail from India, Nawal said. This may be the summer of Ethereum in India. And this is Sandeep here. Um, so I'm just looking to see. I want to continue this here. So you will start seeing in a large number of Indian applications being used proportionately. Nawal said about the rise of India's Silicon Valley in Bangalore. So I mean, guys, a lot of people don't know this, but there's, of course, you guys probably know, there's a Silicon Valley in California. That's where there's all these tech companies. There's tons of money, a lot of, brains over there that are, making dApps and different types of technologies in California, essentially. So and that's called, there's a portion of that city called Silicon Valley, and that kind of same growth for tech is actually happening in India right now. And because regulations has changed, there's now funding for these, companies, tech companies, crypto tech companies, and dApps are being supported, financially. And this big boom, basically a Silicon Valley within Bangalore, India, is happening. So you have to think there's going to be a lot of dApps that are coming out of there, a lot of crypto projects and mines. So there's a lot of brain power there. And, with Matic being at the helm, being that 80 to 90% of those dApps are actually looking at Matic Network, that makes this a big deal. So to continue, while government blockchain projects explore issues like food distribution, Nawal said he is participating in a month-long ETH India virtual hackathon along with a few hundred developers. The ETH India community Telegram group has roughly 931 members, plus the Trump administration's hostile approach to foreign worker visas may inspire some Indian workers to build their careers in India's tech industry instead. As the global recession worsens, India is now home to millions of people with diaspora connections and the computer skills to use cryptocurrency. And then there's a portion here about Uno Coin, how they're coming back because there's all this funding and all these great mines there. And we'll kind of skip over that. We'll go over this here. Quiet bulls. Tech savvy users may increase their crypto holdings, Vishwanath said, because any Indian household with expendable wealth is now thinking about diversification. Kashif Raza, and if I'm butchering names, I apologize, a co-founder of the Indian news startup Crypto Kanun, said people are finding Crypto Kanun is an awesome follow on Twitter. I know I'm digressing here, but awesome follow if you're looking to keep a good handle on the news, and especially the courts and the different type of regulations that are going on within India. Crypto Kanun is a great follow on Twitter. Now, Crypto Kanun said people are finding crypto as an attractive proposition for hedging their risk, but still it is a long way to go. In the meantime, gold is often seen as the best way for Indian families to custody their own wealth. Indeed, the Indian gold market is booming and prices reached record highs in June. One thing is clear post-COVID-19, that in both urban and rural communities, gold is a perfect hedge during the crisis. The gold price has risen exponentially, Raza said in an email. there are many exchanges that have observed a spike in new registrations on their platform during the lockdown in India. So I think that, you know, um, gold is moving exponentially, is doing very well in these markets, especially, in India, as they are saying here. But that, people are looking for the next gold mine. They're looking for, the next big boom. And in India, there's a lot of investors that are really looking to diversify. And obviously, crypto in India is booming, not only on a tech side, development side, but also for investors, because they're seeing that, you know many more wallets are being created, um, that there's many more registrations being created through different exchanges, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, this is very, very, very bullish. You can keep going here, but um, I wanted to kind of point these out because these are some extremely bullish things that are happening within India. But to get right to the point, um, we'll go here. In this article, this was actually on the Matic blog, as you can see, and this was under a certain part where it said Supreme Court of India lifts cryptocurrency ban. And right down here it says, by our conservative estimates, 80 to 90% of all dApps being built by the Indian blockchain developer community are in some way integrated with Matic Network. This judgment opens more avenues and enables us to attract more developers, businesses, and large corporates to build blockchain-enabled applications, and more details to follow. So it says this is a win for India, a win for Matic, and a win for the entire blockchain movement. And it's true. It's very, very true, guys. And that was my second point. Basically, there's a lot going on in India, and not to mention that 80 to 90% of these blossoming and already powerful tech, projects, exchanges, what have you, investors in India are basically definitely going to be looking at Matic, because 80 to 90% of those dApps are being built by the Indian blockchain developer community, or that are, 80 to 90% of all those dApps are integrated with Matic. So that's huge, 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 huge. Now, my third point, Coinbase and Binance. Honestly, you guys probably already know this, but we're just going to go ahead and look at it. And this is on the Matic blog. Coinbase Ventures in Matic. It says, we are pleased to announce Coinbase Ventures as our investor in our seed round. This investment is aligned with our goals to achieve adoption through better usability alongside scalability, and will help us realize our vision to achieve scale for decentralized applications. And this is a very, very old blog. This is from April of 2019. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Coinbase Ventures is the basically one of the big first investors in Matic, and that's huge because Coinbase is also backed by huge players in the finance world, investing world, and Coinbase is one of the most powerful. Coinbase Ventures is one of the most powerful people that you can have behind you. And then secondly, of course, Matic was also launched on the Binance IEO Launchpad, and this is also on the blog, but I'm just showing you to, have some type of source to show you what I'm saying, not just me saying it. And it says, it was an honor to work alongside Binance to launch our IEO in April of this year as part of the Binance Launchpad program. And this was also on the Matic blog within the Year in Review 2019 Matic Network blog. So you have Coinbase Ventures backing Matic. You have Binance backing Matic. And we know that Binance is moving into basically Indian politics. It's acquired a very large exchange in India, WazirX. So you know that Matic is definitely making moves. This is all going to benefit Matic. Um, and you know, you have Coinbase, who is always going to be pushing for more adoption and being behind the projects that they invest in. We also know that Matic is part of Coinbase custody. So, you know, you have very, very, very rich investors that have the ability to acquire Matic right now that are, you know, probably getting a certain type of information. I think the information that I'm giving you now is what those type of very, very wealthy investors would be getting. And this is why this video is so important, because I'm giving the everyday and average and maybe above average investor out there, and even, you know, well type investors, this information. I'm leveling the playing field by giving this information. So that's huge. Now, my very last point, the bonus. I know if you've waited this long, you're in for a good one, because Ethereum went 205x in a little over a year in 2017. And if we go to the Ethereum chart, so we looked at the Neo chart, we looked at XRP, because I wanted to show you that even though there was a massive, that they had a massive circulating supply, even they went exponentially up. If we are to look at Ethereum on my watch list, all right, so in January of 2017, you know, Ethereum was roughly around, you know, high $7.8, and it went up to around $1,623. Basically, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, and if we can see on this price, using my price range calculator here, from that amount of time, it went up 20,557%, which is basically 205x. And this is what I really want you to look at, because on the conservative side, just based off speculation, Neo being the Chinese Ethereum, just based off of, you know, speculation, went up 46x. Speculation. Real adoption netted 205x. This is important because this next bull run will be bigger than the last. This next bull run will be bigger than the last. There will be more users, more adoption, more money, larger market caps than there were in prior years. So realizing that, if we're just looking at historical numbers, something with real world adoption can go 205x. So if you were to extrapolate, if we were to take 46x for just basic speculation in a bull run, and we were just make that 50x, Matic sitting at roughly 2 cents. I mean, it's sitting at 1.946 cents, almost 2 cents. So if you were just take 2 cents, multiply it by 50, that is $1. That's where I'm getting the dollar from. And if you were to take 200x and you were to take the same price, because I mean, we can extrapolate a little bit because this is speculation. So if you were to take 2 cents and multiply it by 200x, that's $4. And that is based off historical information. So, you know, that's where I'm getting the range of $1 to $4. So if you had $1 million Matic conservatively in the next bull run, you could have $1 million, or you could have $4 million. But if the bull run is even larger, you could have more than $4 million if you had 1 million Matic. You know, maybe you would have 10 million. You know, we do see that these bull runs, you know, produce even larger and larger gains. So there you have it, guys. That is the bonus, and this is just the start. So never give up on the future of money, guys. Take it easy.